We're on page 44, and what we're going to do is look at the following problems, do them, exercise 1, 7, 6, 8, and 11, and here they are on page 44. So these are the 4 problems that we're going to do. Let's start with 1Z. And so here we're asked to solve the linear systems. We're given these 2 equations. Okay, these are 2 linear equations, and what we're looking for is the point that lies on both lines. So here what we're going to do is eliminate the x term. We're going to use the process of elimination. As we've said before, elimination is usually the preferred method if the coefficients are, non-standard or non-routine. And you can see here one is 0.8, one is 0.4, one is 0.6, one is 0.2. So what we're going to do, it's probably easiest if we multiply number 2 by -4. So I'm indicating with this here -4 times 2, and that way we'll be able to eliminate the x term, because when we multiply the 0.2 by -4 we get -0.8x, so when we add these two they will cancel out. So 1 we're going to leave the same, 0.8x minus 0.4y equals -0.11, so that's this one. We're leaving it the same. We're indicating it with the letter 1 here. And we're going to multiply equation 2 by 4, -4. And when we multiply this by -4, we get -0.8x. Notice the magnitude of these two are the same, but one has the opposite sign, so this has the minus. Okay, so multiplying this by -4 gives me -0.8x. Multiplying this by -4 gives me plus 0.24y. And multiplying this by -4 gives me plus 0.036. So when I add this term and this term together, I get 0 here. I'm not going to put it in. And 0.24y minus 0.4 gives me 0.20y. And now I have minus 0.011 plus 0.36 gives me plus 0.25. I'm going to divide this by 0.20 to give me y. And so I have to divide this by 0.20, which I do over here. And when I divide 0.20 into 0.25, I get 1.25. So I have the y coordinate of this. Now I'm going to substitute y 1.25 into equation 1 in order to solve for x. So I've got the y, but I now want to find the x. So I have 0.08x minus 0.4y, and now for the y I'm substituting 1.25, right? So I'm right on this equation here. Substituting 0.08x, that stays the same, minus 0.4y, 1.25 equals minus 0.11. So when this term stays the same, when I multiply minus 0.4 times 1.25, I'm going to get minus 0.05. So multiply minus 0.4 times 1.25, I get minus 0.5 equals minus 0.11. I transpose the minus 0.5 from the left to the right and add it to the minus 0.11, and I'm left with minus 0.06. Here, minus 0.06. I divide the x term by 0.08, and then I have to divide this by 0.08, and I get this. So I get minus 0.75. So I now have the x value and the y value for this. So my ordered pair, the answer to the equation is minus 0.75 comma 1.25. Now I'm going to check this by substituting into equation 2. Notice here, since I've used 1 to solve for x, I'm using 2 to check the answer. The problem is finished now. I have the x and y value, but I always like to check. So I'm going to use equation 2. And equation 2, if we go back up, is right here, minus 0.2x minus 0.6y minus 0.9. I always use the original equation. And so I'm going to substitute x, which has a value of minus 0.75. And I'm going to substitute y, which has a value of 125. And when I multiply these two numbers together, I get minus 0.15. And when I multiply 0.6 times 1.25, I get minus 0.75. When I add these two numbers, or minus 0.5 minus 0.75, I get minus 0.9. And the right side of equation 2, if you go back, you'll see right here is minus 0.9. So the left side is minus 0.9 and the right side is minus 0.9. Now in problem number 6, we're told that the sum of two numbers is 90. That's one sentence. That will give us one equation right here. A second equation comes from this sentence. Also, 1/2 of one of them plus double the other is 75. So let x equal the first number and y equal the second number. We're going to set this up with two variables because we're told the sum of two numbers is 90. So let x equal the first number and y equal the second number. The sum of two numbers is 90. That's this equation right here. 1. Also 1/2 of 1. So I'm going to take x over 2. That's 1/2 of 1. Okay, right there. So 1/2 of this one plus, there's the plus there, double the other. So I'm going to take 2y, and I'm told the sum is 75. So let's go over that. We're told that the sum of two numbers is 90. Right there. You let the x equal the first one and y equal the second. The sum is 90. And then we're told that the sum of 1/2 of 1, which is really 1/2 x or x over 2, plus double the other is 75. So these are the two equations that we're going to work with. Now, it doesn't matter if you had done x plus y over 2. If you had reversed the thing, if you reversed it and said let x equal one of the numbers, and then you're going to half the y and say y over 2 equals 75, that wouldn't make any difference. You'd still get the answer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is multiply equation by 2 to get rid of the fraction. So here we're going to multiply 2 by each term by 2. That'll give us x. 2 times x over 2. The 2's will cancel, be left with x. 2 times 2y equals 4y. And 2 times 75 equals 150. So the reason I'm multiplying equation 2 by 2 is to get rid of this fraction 2 here. So I'm multiplying each term on the left by 2 and this term on the right by 2, and I come out with this one. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply each one through equation 1 by minus 1 because I'll get minus x here and I'll eliminate y. I'll be able to eliminate y. So I'm going to put each term here, minus 1 times x gives me minus x, minus 1 times plus y gives me minus y, and minus 1 times 90 gives me minus 90. Now, when I add these two terms here, they will eliminate the x. So what I'm going to try doing here is eliminating the x. 4y minus 3y gives me 3y. 150 minus 90 gives me 60. I divide 3y by 3, I get y. I divide 60 by 3, and I get 20. Now I'm going to substitute y equals 20 into, so I know one of the numbers is 20. And I substitute this into 1. X plus y equals 20. Instead of y, I'm writing 20. So I transpose the plus 20 to the other side. I get 90 minus 20, and then x comes out to be 70. So once I knew that y was 20, and I knew that the sum of the two numbers was 90, that other number has to be 70. So that makes total sense. Now let's see. We're going to check with equation 2. If 20 and 70 are the correct numbers, if 20 and 70 correct numbers, then the left side of equation 2 should equal the right side. So here we have x over 2 plus 2y is our left side. We're not going to look at our right side. Just pretend that you don't know this is 75 here. So we've got x over 2. We said x was 70. 70 over 2 is 35. 2y is, y is 20, is 40. 35 plus 40 is 75. And if you look at the right side is 75. So we've shown this the answers to this problem to be 70 and 90, and then checked the answer. Okay, the next problem is number 8, and we're told here double the sum of two numbers is 30, and triple their difference is 15. Find the numbers. So we always start with our let statement. Let x equal the first number and y equals the second number. So the sum of the numbers is x plus y, and the difference is x minus y. The sum is x plus y, the difference is. Now it doesn't matter which you assign the first or which you assign the second. You could have written this as y plus x and y minus x if you want, but you have to be able to indicate what you're thinking about. This is one of the numbers that you're thinking about, and this is the other. So double the sum means that you're going to take the sum x plus y, which is in brackets, and multiply it by 2. Triple the difference means that you're going to take the difference and multiply it by 3. And in the problem, you're told double the sum of the numbers is 30. So right here, double the sum of the numbers is 30. And triple 3 times their difference is 15. So now we use the distributive rule to get rid of the brackets. 2x plus 2y equals 30 right over here. I use the distributive rule here. 3 times x minus 3y equals 15 over here. So I've now removed the brackets. Now I'm going to eliminate the x term by multiplying equation 1 by minus 3 and multiplying equation 2 by the number 2. So when I multiply equation 1 by minus 3 right here, I get minus 6x minus 6y equals minus 90. Minus 6x minus 6y equals minus 90. And I'm multiplying this through by 2, and I get 6x minus 6y equals 30. 6x minus 6y equals 30. Now, I'm eliminating the x term, and if I multiply this by minus 3 and this by plus 2, then I get minus 6x and 6x. So that, and I noticed a little mistake here. No, oh, sorry, I got minus 6x minus, it's correct. Minus 6x minus 6y equals minus 90, and 6x minus 6y equals 30. Now, when I add these two terms, I get 0. And I add minus 6y and minus 6y, I get minus 12y. Okay, so I've eliminated the x term by making these the same size but different in sign. Now these ones are the same sign but they're not different in y, so they don't eliminate. Minus 6y and minus 6y gives me minus 12y. Minus 90 plus 30 equals minus 60. And when I divide this by 12, minus 12, and this by minus 12, I get y equals 5. Now I substitute y equals 5 into equation 1. I'm trying to solve for x here now, because I know y, but I want x. I'm always trying to find in these kinds of problems the x and the y value are the two variables. Once I found one variable, I want to find the other. So I found y equals 5. I substitute y equals 5 into equation 1, 2x plus 2y equals 30. And now I've got 2x plus 10, y 10, because 2 times 5 is 10, equals 30. So 2x equals 20 and x equals 10. So I now know that y equals 5 and x equals 10. So I've solved for that. And you could just go back and see that the sum of two, double the sum of the two numbers. So if I double the sum of 10 and 5, if I double the sum of 10 and 5, I get 15. And then double it, I get 30. And the difference between 10 and 5 is 5, and if I triple it, I get 15. So I can see it very clearly, just trying to figure it out in my head. But let's go back into equation 2 to make sure that we've got it right. So I always check the answer with a different equation than which I did for the substitution to find the second value. I found y first, and I used equation 1 then to find the value of x. Check the answer using equation 2. The left side is equal to 3x minus y. I do 3, 10 minus 5, and 10 minus 5 is 5. 3 times 5 is 15. And the right side of equation 2 is 15. So I've shown that the left side equals the right side. Now, the last problem that we're going to do on page 44, we're asked to find the values of two angles here. Find two supplementary angles such that one angle is 20 more than 4 times the other. So supplementary angles, just to review this, add up to 180 degrees. Complementary add up to 90. So supplementary angles are angles that add up to 180. So if x equals the first angle and y equals the second angle, the sum of the two angles must equal 180. So I find here, right away from this first little, find two supplementary angles that I get in the equation, x plus y equals 180. Now, one angle is 20 more than 4 times the other. that means is the angle that I'm thinking about is going to be the difference between this angle and 4 times the other is going to be 20. So here's I have a statement. One angle is 20 more, that if I subtract 4 times that other angle from it, it gives me 20, because the difference between this and 4 times this, the difference between this is 20. So right here, such that one angle, X, is 20 more than 4 times the other. So I'm taking the difference of the two, and the X is 20 degrees larger than 4 times Y. So now there are different ways of doing this. You could have said X equals 4Y plus 20. So you can do it that way. There's more than one way to do this, but I've translated this that one angle is 20 more than 4 times the other. So I take the difference between the two, and I say that difference is 20 because it's 20 more. So now what I'm going to do is eliminate the X variable, because obviously that's easiest to do here. I only have to multiply equation 2 by -1. I'm going to leave 1 times 1, I'm going to leave it exactly the same. I'm going to multiply each term here by -1. So I get minus X. Here I get plus 4Y. When I multiply -1 times -4Y, I get plus 4Y. And -1 times plus 20 gives me -20. So we add these up now, and the X term is cancels. X minus X is 0. Y plus 4Y gives me 5Y. 180 minus 20 gives me 160. So Y is 32. We substitute 4Y in equation 1. Equation 1 is X plus Y equals 180. So what we're going to do is say X plus Y. Instead of Y, we're going to write 32 equals 180. So X will equal 180 minus the 32, because I transpose this from the right to the left, and I get 148. So first of all, it makes total sense. If one angle is 32 and they're supplementary, the other must be 148, because the sum of the two must be that. Now let's check the second equation, which said that X minus 4 times Y equals 20. So X is 148. 4 times Y is 4 times 32, which is 128. So minus 4 times 32 is minus 128. 148 minus 128 is 20. And the right side of this equation is 20.